Hello, everyone. My name is Anae Agostini. I'm CEO of CID Insurance Programs. Today, we're going to do a web quote demonstration for quoting community association D&O and Umbrella for condominium associations and community associations and planned unit developments. I'm really excited to have our USLI team with us today to go through a demonstration. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to the team.
Hi, so we're first going to start with quoting the D&O and crime for community association. So we're going to first start by going here on the CID Insurance website. And right when you hit on the home page, right here, there's a quick link that says web quote USLI. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And we're wanting to quote for a community association, the D&O and crime. So we're going to go right here, very easy to find. And we're just going to go again, if you never have all of the information, that's okay. Just try to put as much of information as you can in there. So we're going to go, we're going to start with it's an association in California. We're not sure, we're assuming no losses. It's a, pick depending on what it is, but we know here it's a residential condominium association. It has 30 units. Majority of homeowners associations won't have actual employees. They'll have volunteers on the board, so we'll just go with 0. As far as we're aware, no commercial or retail units, just residential. We're not sure on the rest of the information. Like I said, it's okay to leave blank what we don't know. We'll go continue. And for, write the name of the association, but for, since we're just, we'll put test. Some of the information we're not 100% sure. If you have, for the description of operations, I would just put, condo association or HOA. Put in the address. We're not, again, fill in what you know. If you don't know, just leave it as unknown. That can always be we can review that later. So let's just say we don't have any of this information. We'll just leave all this unknown. Again, on the crime, we're not 100% sure on this information. We've got limited information, so we'll leave it as is. We'll go continue. And so right here, this is going to be, very, very basic quote. Obviously we didn't fill out much of the information, but here it's kind of giving us a really good idea of where we're going to be at with premium, any other kind of limits for crime. And, here we can go just from there. You can have this instant quote, but if you want to complete the quote, you would hit there, continue to complete, and there you would kind of go through some of the more in-depth questions and get a more firmed up quote. And that's how you would quote the D&O and the crime.
Thanks, Matthias. So I'm going to take over and show you how to get use that quote to get an umbrella excess quote over not only the D&O but also an underlying GL. So as Matthias showed you, you go to the front page of CID Insurance and scroll down to web quote USLI. And then again, as you saw under this Community Association PUD tab, right next to directors and officers, we have umbrella liability. I'm going to go into that. And then we will scroll down. So we're just going to fill in the relevant information. Some of it you'll have previously, so we're obviously going to use the same name that we just did for the D&O quote in California. For classification, you're going to want to put in what the underlying risk is. So right now we're going over a condominium association. So if you do type in association, you'll have a variety of class codes to choose from. This community association would be for a single family home like a PUD. And then if you scroll down, we're looking for residential only because that is what we are going the umbrella over. So you'll see here, condominium residential association risk. And that is what we're going to be going over to today. Below that are the underlying lines of coverage that you can go over. So general liability is automatically checked for you here. You can either do that through USLI or any other carrier, B++ rated or higher, we will go over. The automobile liability can typically be your hired and non-owned auto coverage, which could be on the general liability. So if that is included, please check this button. The employer's liability tends to be a coverage built into your workers' comp policy. Again, we are doing a risk with no employees, so we're going to leave this one blank. Then if you are creating an umbrella quote to go over your homeowners association or condo, I would urge you to leave this blank. This professional liability refers to errors and omissions coverage, not the D&O quote that we just went over. We'll add that on the next page. So the most important thing that you're going to learn from this is leave this blank. We're going to scroll down, and then like in the D&O, we're just going to enter a quick description of operations here. So we're going to put in condominium association. And you can enter the number of units, any amenities, things like that, which can just help the underwriter in case you run into any issues, gather as much information as possible. Next. And I do want to point out at any time, if you do run into any issues or have any questions, you can call this number right at the top here, 877-969-7539, and you'll be connected directly with an underwriter. Could be me or any colleague of mine who can help walk you through the quote or answer any questions that you do have. So here we're just going to enter the information that we did for the directors and officers quote. And scroll down. These are rating-based questions. You don't necessarily are required to answer this, so we can leave it unknown. I would urge you to enter the number of stories. If you don't know, you can certainly look it up on Google Maps. The number of stories is important because it affects rating, and not only that, but the maximum limit of liability you can get for the umbrella. So we're going to assume this is a 2-story building. And then again, if they have an exposure to a swimming pool, you can answer yes here. Again, it's just going to affect the rate, but you're still eligible for a quote. So we're just going to leave that blank. Next is where you enter the underlying general liability information. We're going to require the underlying liability premium, so please have that available. Note this is the general liability premium only, not the package. So we're going to assume 500. Now for the carrier, like I said, you just need to start typing, and there'll be a variety of carriers that come up with. For now, I'm just going to put to be determined. Next is the general liability limit. Note that we do require a minimum of 1 mil, 2 mil in order to offer an umbrella over this. The policy number, inception date, and expiration date, you can leave blank. There's no need to fill those in order to get a quote. And the last thing I'll mention for the general liability is that we do require an ISO form. So if you don't know it's on ISO, you can click unknown to get a quote. But if you do know, I would just encourage you to leave that as ISO CG 0001. Right here at the bottom is where we can add our directors and officers quote that we just did. So we saw the premium for a 1 mil layer was $884. So I'm going to enter that here. Your carrier was United States Liability or USLI. It is important to note that you do need to spell that out. USLI will not populate, so you do have to spell this out here. And again, as this one's not bound, you're not going to have a policy number or inception date, so you can leave those blank. And this is the quote. It is that easy. Here we have our umbrella quote number. You'll see it's an admitted quote here, and we'll have the insuring carrier, who is United States Liability Insurance Company. Here at the side, you have the option to view, print, or email the quote directly to yourself, and I'll have instructions on where to send for binding. If you scroll down further, you can see the limit options. You'll have option limits from 1 million up to 5 million with the applicable premium alongside. You have our underlying information here, including the address and the classification. And if you do need to review any endorsements that you're interested in, you'll have access to these here. If you just click them and follow the link, you'll be able to review the forms. But yeah, it's that easy to get a quote. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to us. I'm going to turn this back over to Anae. Thanks, Anae.
Thank you, Josh. So that is a really easy way to get a D&O and umbrella quote for either a condominium or a plan unit development on USLI's web quoting through our website, CID Insurance Programs. So now that you've got your quotes, you want to go forward, and when you're ready to bind, all the instructions are right there on the quote. And of course, you'd have to finish your application with gathering that information, but at least you can get the quote up front and be able to put those numbers out there and then finish the paperwork when you get the bind order. So you will be sending this to CID Insurance Programs, and your underwriter's information will be right on your quote. So when you're ready to bind, send it over. We look forward to doing business with you and writing some of the D&O and umbrella with USLI. Thank you for joining us.